Your day off to the absolute best possible start in the history of mornings. Connect with Jeff and Dale through the KMAS listener line by email or Facebook. Now, from the gateway to the Olympic Mountains, Daybreak with Jeff and Dale.
I know my dad got an email, though, yesterday evening to quit watching that the video has been uploaded. So if you subscribe to our YouTube channel, you'll get notifications when we upload new videos, including our candidate interviews or
Oyster Fest,
Oyster Challenge, or any other silly video.
Yeah, okay. All right, very good. That's good to know.
It's like 32 people have already watched our Oyster Challenge video.
That is nice. Available. It was exciting. It was a fun video. I ended up going out and watching other Oyster Challenges from around the world yesterday for a few minutes. Ours is the best.
Well, yeah.
So just want to put it out there. Some of them were very stoic and very low key and also proper. But an oyster challenge is an oyster challenge, and the actual eating part of it, they all look the same.
Looking good.
Yeah.
16 after 8 o'clock. Good morning to you. It is Daybreak with Jeff and Dale. 7 is our date today. It's our 10-year anniversary of the terrorist attacks in London, and you were looking 50 people died and 700 injured?
Yes. Yeah, 50 people and at least 700 injured. 3 trains. Were the trains or buses?
Buses.
Exploded. Terrorist attack in London. And it was 10 years ago today. And because it didn't happen here, we need to remind people that it happened.
Sure, it did happen. It did happen, for sure.
Certainly not forgotten on the Londoners this morning, I am sure.
We talked a little bit about PTSD. Yesterday, we had a story about how much, it's amazing how different states are. We just are applauding, and maybe not applauding, but we are acknowledging the fact that some $70 million has been added to our state coffers because of marijuana sales.
Yeah.
Which is double what they were expecting.
Right.
There is a case in Oklahoma. I don't know if you've heard of this, but a veteran was holding or had an ounce or so of marijuana that he uses for PTSD.
Yeah.
Now facing a life sentence in jail.
In Oklahoma. That's the state law there.
Yeah. Life in prison.
Oh, my goodness.
A 33-year-old guy could face up to life in prison for growing marijuana for medicinal use in his backyard. Helps him with his PTSD symptoms. So, yeah, they came. The local media is calling it a major pot bust. The Comanche County Sheriff's deputies responded around 10 o'clock to a report that this guy had been chasing his wife with a knife. I don't know about that. That's another part of the story. But he surrendered to authorities. They found 6 marijuana plants in his garden. And it is against the law in Oklahoma, but just how different the landscape is. And they're really working on changing some of these nonviolent offenders. President is he's got some executive power that he can do with clemency, but also there is talk and work on both sides of the aisle on changing some of these laws. Because, it was back in the 60s and 70s. If you were holding, well, like this guy, an ounce of pot, you could get life. I mean, it ruins it's like you're a felon.
I do remember in the 70s, they lowered the fine if it was less than a certain amount. I think an ounce was the measurement that you'd get what equated to a traffic ticket and be sent on your way. They would confiscate, of course, everything you had.
Yeah.
They'd write you up a ticket. They wouldn't run you off to jail or fingerprint you or anything. They'd write you a ticket, and you had to appear in court.
For so long.
That was that was early 70s here in Washington State.
Oh, yeah, some less. But there are people getting thrown up the river.
Oh, yeah, there's other states that are
very. And so the tough thing is politicians always want to be tough on crime. Mm-hmm. And it's easy to be, these drugs are killing everybody. And so they have all that dare stuff going on. And so people are starting to think, this may, because a lot of folks will go into prison for having an ounce of weed, whatever. And then they learn all these other skills, and then they're in the system.
Now they're a professional criminal.
And they can't get their voting rights restored, and then they have to check that they're felons. And oh my gosh, kind of like what we're hearing with this Veterans Court story that Adam J. Click did, which has gotten great reviews.
Yeah.
But so that's some stuff that's going on this
Well, we are in the throes of change.
What a crazy
something
time.
was brought up yesterday afternoon on the radio, and that was the fact that we're reaching a tipping point where the millennials will outnumber or are outnumbering the baby boomers.
Yeah, I heard
my
that.
whole life, we've been the majority population on the planet for this country. And so now that's starting to tip. And so the thoughts, feelings, and morals of another generation are starting to take precedence, are starting to make their impact felt. And that's change.
And I'm sure it's
as we changed our parents' and grandparents' world, the millennials will change the baby boomers' vision of what the world should be. And we're seeing that.
Yeah, some real struggles back and forth on who's running the show now.
Yeah, and it's not, change is not easy. We'll just leave it right there. It is Daybreak with Jeff and Dale, 8:21.
You're listening to Daybreak with Jeff and Dale on KMAS News Radio.
Stay, play, explore, and dine right in your own backyard this summer during Lacey Days. Enjoy a staycation from June 27th through July 12th. These are the best 2 weeks of summer in Lacey. From the America's Classic Jazz Festival June 27 and 28 through the South Sound Barbecue Festival on July 11, the Lacey Days calendar is packed with concerts, fireworks, sports events, dining discounts, and more. Lots of free activities for families, too. Visit lacydays.org for all the details.
Looking for a nice, relaxing evening along the waterfront with affordable pricing and live entertainment? Look no further. The Robin Hood Restaurant and Pub has new ownership with an updated menu, offering the same quality and taste you've come to expect with new, affordable pricing. Try the lemon drop prawns, fish and chips, or their whole line of steaks in the historic dining room, on the patio, or in the classic style pub. The Robin Hood Restaurant and Pub opens every day at 4, located in Union along beautiful Hood Canal. The Robin Hood Pub and Restaurant, featuring live music on Wednesday and Saturday nights. Come for dinner or stay the night at the Robin Hood Cottages next door, featuring hot tubs, hiking, kayaking. The Robin Hood is now an affordable and unique destination for your next staycation. See the full menu, musical lineup, and other details at RobinHoodVillageResort.com.
Hey, Paul, looks like we're coffee twins. We both got McCafes.
Oh, you mean my bean brew?
Yeah, your fresh brewed McCafe coffee.
No, I think you mean my mojo. My Java, my morning joke.
Okay, I get it. You want to use coffee slang. Well, let's drink this toasty roasty, Joe, bro.
Whoa, Tom. Don't get all weird on me.
My bad.
Whatever you call it, you'll love a rich, smooth, fresh brewed McCafe coffee from McDonald's. And now get any size McCafe coffee for just $1.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
A la carte only. Prices and participation may vary. Limited time offer.
This is the sound of a Minion. This is the sound of a Minion peeling back a Minion Mania Instant Win food prize game piece at McDonald's. And this is the sound of you winning $250,000 in the Minion Mania online sweepstakes.
Oh, yeah, oh, yeah.
When it comes to joy, we all speak the same language. This summer, if you're 13 or older and a U.S. resident, come play Minion Mania at McDonald's. You can play in the restaurant only until August 3rd. And check out the new movie Minions only in theaters. No purchase necessary, void where prohibited. Official rules in restaurant and at Minions at McD.com.
Hi, this is Dwayne Wilson from Bluegrass in the Forest, and you're listening to Daybreak with Jeff and Dale.
All right, good morning to you. It's Daybreak here at KMAS. KMAS.com. I know what's going on there.
KMOS, as the locals like to call it.
KMOS. I always wonder how to... I mean, I'm just happy that they know the station. You know, rather to get into it's actually KMAS. Yes, Jerry, what is up?
We have had a scheduling faux pas. Karen, her and I talked about them coming on a while back, and she says, really, there's no story to be had about the election and just the fact that we need to urge people to go out and run for it. But so anyway, they won't be in. She did share with me. I said, well, what happens if nobody runs?
Yeah.
Typically, the commission then would appoint someone who, ask for people that are interested and see who all applied, then appoint someone.
Yeah.
If there is an incumbent, then they would just be allowed to stay in that position.
Mm-hmm.
So on the appointments, they would be reviewed again in a year. So there is a process, and, to handle that, the problem that you have is the disinterest in the community and serving the community. So
if I'm not mistaken, one of the couple of the openings is for the cemetery district or the parks district or things like that. And didn't we vote on? Well, didn't the citizens of the city of Shelton vote to create this thing?
Correct.
But they can't get anybody to be on it.
Correct.
Oh.
It's like, have I told you the story of the little red hen? I know I say that many times, and people say, what the hell is that about? But it's about a little red hen who wants to make some bread, but she starts out with, she has to grow some wheat in order to get the bread. So she asks for help from all the other barnyard critters, or the township, so to speak, if they would help her. And, everybody's too busy. Sorry, I can't do that, blah, blah, blah. So she says, fine. She goes ahead and plants the seed and grows the wheat. Well, now it comes time to harvest the wheat and mill it down to flour. And once again, she asks for help. And, I'm so busy and I got this excuse, that excuse, can't do it. So fine, she goes ahead and mills it, then makes the bread and bakes the bread, and all along she's asking for help, and everybody's just too busy and has the $10,000 excuse as to why they can't do something. And then when it comes time to eat the bread, she also extends that invitation. And of course, I have plenty of time. Let me help you, blah, blah, blah.
Wouldn't you know it?
So that's kind of, what happens. If all was good and it was lucrative for people to do those services, you'd probably get a higher participation.
So it is the Mason County Cemetery District 1, 2, and 3, Fire District 1, Commissioner Position 1, Port of Dewado Position 2, Port of Grapeview 1, Grapeview School District Position 5.
Port of Grapeview.
I don't live there. We just have residents there, but I don't live there. And then Tahuya River Water District 3. Otherwise, Dale, you never know.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jerry. That was a good story.
All right.
The red hen on the line to talk about the stock market.
Yes.
Good morning.
Good morning, everybody. It's Karen.
It is Karen.
It is Karen.
Karen, do you have a story to tell?
About what?
Kind of like a moral, like a Aesop's fable or anything like that. Quickly.
It's story time today.
Well, no. I mean, I always have a saying to my kids, though. I mean, just say how you deal with life is, be a duck. And
What?
it is, it's not a fable. It's just like, it doesn't matter 5 minutes, 5 months, 5 years. If it's not, then you need to let it just roll off your back and be happy.
Like a duck.
There you go.
So, there's a lot of them say, it doesn't matter what goes underwater. But I always say, does it matter? Then don't worry about it.
All right, so Greece
Oh, Greece.
is the word. Greece is the word.
Should we worry about it?
Yeah.
So in this scenario, we are worrying.
Okay.
There we are. It's not, but flying too close to the sun, you're going to fall.
I heard that it's only like a third of 1% or something like that, the actual amount of trade we do with Greece.
It's not. Here's, again, it's the ripple effect. So, it's like you're looking at a pond right now and giant boulders are being splashed in it. And it's making lots of waves. But on the other side of that pond, there's barely a ripple.
Right. Well, interesting. Yeah. So where are we at with the Wall Street today?
Well, U.S. stocks are trading lower as investors look forward to the outcome of the Eurozone meeting that will attempt to find a solution to the ongoing debt crisis on Greece. On the domestic front, the U.S. trade deficit widened in May, reflecting a decline in sales of American-made aircraft and machinery as exports continue to suffer from a strong dollar. Other data showed job openings unexpectedly increased in May, a further sign that the labor market is continuing to improve. U.S. bond prices are advancing as investors seek the relative safety of U.S. debt. So far this morning in the S&P 500, the best performing sector is utilities, while the worst performing sector is basic materials. The Dow Jones Industrial Average is down 173 points at 17,510. The Standard & Poor's 500 Index is down 17 points at 2,050. The NASDAQ Composite Index is down 73 points at 4,917. This morning, volume on the New York Stock Exchange is high, with 267 million shares being traded. Decliners are outnumbering advancers by a roughly 5-to-1 margin. In the commodity markets, the spot price of gold is down $16.89 to $1,153.46. The spot price of silver is down 85 cents to $14.90, and crude oil prices are down $1.76 to $50.77. In the bond market, the 30-year Treasury yield is currently 2.99%, and the 10-year Treasury yield is currently 2.19%. Stocks of local interest: Amazon is down $7.82. Costco is up 47 cents. Boeing is down 12 cents. Starbucks is down 84 cents, and Microsoft is down 94 cents. This is Karen Shade of Edward Jones, member SIPC, serving individual investors with personalized attention and long-term financial advice. I'm located at 1051 Southeast State Route 3 in Shelton, and if you'd like additional information, you can contact me at 426-4590, and daily commentary is also located on our website at edwardjones.com.
You're listening to Daybreak with Jeff and Dale on KMAS News Radio.
Local news is brought to you by Fred Holmes Tree Service. FredHolmesTreeService.com, 427-4489.
For KMASNewsRadio.com, I'm Marilyn Foster. State Democrats say that while they don't believe the legislature needs to move this year to address a class size initiative with a multi-billion-dollar price tag that has put the new state operating budget out of balance, they are willing to negotiate with majority Republicans to find an agreement that ends the longest legislative session on record. Washington lawmakers, after barely averting a government shutdown last week, are still in the midst of a triple overtime legislative session because the budget signed by Governor Jay Inslee, with moments to spare, assumed savings of $2 billion for the next 2 years from the suspension of the voter-approved Initiative 1351. There's a rumor going around that some state Senate Democrats had been drinking last week when casting their votes regarding the state budget. State Representative Matt Manweller made the allegation on Facebook that Democrats have been drinking alcohol and were inebriated before voting to delay implementation of Initiative 1351. State Representative Drew McEwen also made that claim while talking with Daybreak here on KMAS.
And you know what is really, to me, just disgusting about the whole thing? When Senate Democrats decide to take this action and go back on their word and break their trust, is they sat in the Senate, in the wings of the Senate chamber, drinking at 2 a.m. and laughing about it. And to hold the state hostage like that, I just find appalling. And it shows a complete lack of leadership. And to me, it's a disgusting process that has taken place, one, just to back out of your word, but then to have the audacity and claim you're there for the children and be drinking in the wings of the chamber and laughing about it. And that's what went down, literally in the dark hours of the morning. And I find it disgusting, appalling. And, subsequently, we're still in session.
You can hear that full interview on the Daybreak page at KMAS.com. Senate Democrats have denied that they'd been consuming alcohol Tuesday evening or at any point leading up to the 6 a.m. Wednesday vote on whether to delay the class size initiative. The Washington State Patrol is asking for witnesses to a 4-vehicle collision that took place July 4th on Interstate 5 in Tumwater to contact them. The collision occurred at 8:38 a.m. Saturday. 3 people were injured in the collision, including an 8-year-old who was riding in a Toyota van. Christopher Christensen is the 2015 Oyster Eating Challenge winner. Christopher ate 8 dozen and 7 oysters to beat his 5 challengers. The Oyster Eating Challenge on Hood Canal is an annual event held at the beautiful Alderbrook Resort and Spa in Union, Washington. Find pictures and video of the challenge on our Facebook page. For 1030 KMAS, FM 104.1, and in Thurston County on 92.9, I'm Mary Lynn Foster.
If you or your loved ones have been injured in a car accident and the insurance company is not treating you fairly, then call me, Attorney Harold Carr. Don't be a victim of a negligent driver and then be victimized by the insurance company. My law firm has 6 locations and has handled more than 10,500 personal injury cases. We have 7 attorneys and 23 staff members dedicated to protecting your legal rights.
Car accident? Call Carr. HaroldCarrAttorney.com. HaroldCarrAttorney.com.
For News Radio 1030 KMAS Shelton, FM 104.1, 92.9 FM, Thurston County, and we are streaming online, audio and video at KMAS.com. I'm Dale Hubbard. Good morning. It's 8:36, and my goodness gracious, a collapse, I tell you, in the bullpen by the Mariners, and 12-5, the final to the Detroit Tigers. Things were going pretty well for most of the game. Now, Hisashi Iwakuma comes off of an 11-week stint on the disabled list. He had strained his back and his shoulder, and he had some problems. So they took their time. They got him back to form. He made his first start, and didn't do that well, actually. Gave up 4 home runs in 5+ innings of work. But still, we were only down by a few in the bottom of the 5th when Logan Morrison came up to bat.
Swing and a high fly ball deep right center field. Back to the 1-2 track, goes to the wall, leaps up goodbye baseball. Holy smokes, Logan Morrison with a 3-run home run here in the bottom of the 5th inning. And the Mariners have taken a 5-3 lead over the Tigers. Logan Morrison with his 11th home run of the season.
It was a big home run, and for the Mariners, getting 5 runs pretty much assured them of a victory, especially that late in the game. As a matter of fact, you'd have to go back 14 games where the Mariners had scored 5 or more runs and they'd lost.
Wow.
Yeah. Whenever they get 5 or more runs for the last 13 games that they had scored 5 or more, they won until last night as the walls came crashing in on a couple of young rookies. Still no explanation as to exactly why both were called up on the same day and why both were called out to help relieve the Hisashi Iwakuma starter. So here's how here's your guys, Gualpe and Rollins, Macole Gualpe and David Rollins, both rookie relievers, both on the roster, both imploded, and that helped spell doom for Seattle. They combined together for 7 runs, 9 hits, and 3 outs. And that was just in 2 innings of work. So they didn't do very well, and they're probably on their way back down to Tacoma, I'm thinking. I'm not sure. They may give them another shot at it. Who knows? All right, so onward and upward. Game 2 of the 3-game series against Detroit. Tonight, we'll have pregame for you at 6. First pitch, just a touch past 7. Taiwan Walker will be on the hill for Seattle tonight.
All right, South Sound forecast is calling for now. It's 61 with some cloudy conditions and maybe about the same as yesterday. It was 81 at Sanderson Field. Yesterday, we're looking at about 85 or so roughly the same. Tomorrow, back up into the 90s. Thursday, 85. Friday, 76. And Saturday, 80. Very nice to walk around. Very nice walking around weather.
Yeah.
61 right now.
It's Daybreak with Jeff and Dale on KMAS News Radio. Join the guys as they talk with neighbors, newsmakers, and each other, getting your day off to the absolute best possible start in the history of mornings. Connect with Jeff and Dale through the KMAS listener line by email or Facebook. Now, from the southernmost tide pool of Puget Sound, Daybreak with Jeff and Dale.
Good morning, 8:40 on Daybreak with Jeff and Dale, and we are pleased to have in studio with us from the WSU Extension Office in the Master Gardeners program, Lou Schmidt. Hi, Lou.
Morning.
How are you?
Just fine, thank you.
Well, it's nice to have you back.
Thank you.
Yeah, and a big event coming up this Saturday for you guys.
That's right. We have our garden tour coming, and we have 6 gardens in the Highway 3 area. They're all within 7.5 miles of each other.
Okay.
They'll be well signed. You can buy tickets in advance, and there will also be some tickets available at the garden if you twisted somebody else's arm to come with you.
Yes.
And we're hoping for not too hot a day. It was very hot for the tour last year. We're hoping it's not quite that hot this year.
All right, so this is an annual event. And are you typically usually out around Highway 3? Seems to me a couple of years ago we were talking to some people that were participating in it, and they were out along that area in Great View in that area.
There's sort of been 2 sets of garden tours. Quite a few years ago, they had, I'm going to say maybe for 5 or 6 years they had them. And then they kind of fell apart. It's a lot of work to put on for the gardeners and for the master gardeners to get it organized and everything. But it was missed. And so one of our master gardeners, Pat Carpenter, was very enthusiastic about getting it going again. And she twisted my arm, and we've been co-chairing the garden tour for the past 3. This is the 3rd one that we've done together.
All right.
And the first 2 years ago, it was out along Lynch Road and Arcadia, out that way. Last year, it was downtown Shelton, which was really fun because the gardens were all fairly close together. And the comments were, we didn't know there were such beautiful gardens in Shelton. It was really, really nice.
And these are private homes.
Private homes.
Who have got the gardening bug, and they really take their backyards and oftentimes front yards to the next level and make it very nice in there.
Yes, they do.
Many acres, and there's walking paths and all sorts of things.
I know. Yeah, it's fun. And this year's going to be good too.
So you do have 6 gardens for people to see.
We do, yes.
And it's up along the Highway 3 corridor. Now, is it beyond
it's the closest one to Shelton is on the Mason Lake Road. There's 2 on that Mason Lake Road, and the furthest one away is on Stretch Island.
Okay, all right.
So it's not too far.
Not too bad.
Yeah.
Great way to spend a Saturday. What are the hours?
The gardens are open from 10 till 4.
All right.
So we have 2 shifts of master gardeners helping out at the gardens, answering questions and showing people around. And we have 2 shifts so that if you're on the morning shift, you can go to see the rest of the gardens in the afternoon and the other way around.
Oh, that's good.
So,
yeah,
that's fun.
Big effort for everybody. Now, you said tickets are available, and I heard you mention to Carol. One location is Tozier's. What was the other location?
Tozier's, Lynch Creek Floral, Lori's Gifts in Hoodsport, and Hunter Farms in Union.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Very good. And how much are they?
Oh, they're $12, and they're also at the Fresh Start Deli out on Spencer Lake Road.
Okay. Right.
So that's kind of handy for people coming from another direction.
You bet. And so $12, $2 per garden.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah,
that's the deal.
So let's say if you wanted to stay closer, you don't have to go to all of them.
No, if you get really stuck at one because you love it, you can stay there all day. We don't care. They don't care.
What are some of the things that you've seen in past years that just make you go, wow?
The one that sticks out in my mind is Enid Roberts' garden in Dawnview. She has an English-style garden with greenhouses to die for, and she's just got the color and the shapes and the absolutely everything just down perfectly. Of course, she has a gardener that helps, but it was spectacular. But some of the smaller gardens are equally popular. They're just, you can do it on a 60-foot lot. There were 2 in town last year, right side by side, on Harvard, is it up there?
There's a Harvard Street,
up there on the hill.
Yeah.
And they were both spectacular, little tiny pocket gardens, but just superbly done, and right side by side made it very convenient.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That's awesome. That's really cool. So people can get out there, and it also helps out the master gardeners.
Right.
And the WSU extension.
It's not one of our biggest fundraisers. The plant sale obviously is the biggest fundraiser, but we do break even. The reason we don't do too well is because we have a big party after the garden tour.
As well you should.
And all the master gardeners that we're helping, and then all the garden owners are invited. And so we're sort of expecting 60 people for dinner.
Wild and crazy, those master gardeners and those garden folks.
Stories.
Oh,
that'd be fun.
Yeah, it's fun. It's great fun sharing ideas.
It really is.
Yeah.
It sounds like it's going to be a fun day. You guys were talking a little bit off the air, so there was a little concern about how dry it is, but people appropriate their water for their gardens.
Right. I think watering their gardens this year in particular has been a priority. I know. Sure. I feel like I'm walking around with a hose attached to my wrist. It's just.
Yeah. They really got to keep them hydrated, and that's really a challenge when it's
so hot.
So hot.
Because most of the plants here aren't used to this 90 plus.
Like us, we're not used.
No, we're not either. People either.
Oh, that is exciting. Good. So 10 to 4. And you get a map when you buy your tickets.
Yeah,
is that what happens?
There's a nice little ticket booklet that has a map in the center part.
Okay.
And there's a little disclaimer at the bottom says, this map is nowhere near to scale. It's just hand-drawn, but it's got the directions to the thing. And then there's also written directions to it. And then there's also big pink signs with black arrows on it.
All right.
It'll be posted at key intersections.
Those are GPS coordinates, those pink signs with those.
Yeah, sort of.
Yeah, they know where they're going.
I don't think they have the long on them.
That's awesome. That's exciting, Lou. Well, best of luck to you guys on this deal coming up. Is there anything else you need to share with us?
Well, if I've got time, I could give you a few tips about what you'll see at some of the gardens.
Yes.
There's one great big one. I'm not telling names and addresses because you'll get that in the ticket booklet. There's a couple with a lot of native plants. There's a lot of whimsical things this year, little fairy garden things and mermaids in ponds and that sort of stuff.
Wow.
In fact, the president of the Master Gardeners, his house is on the tour this year, and he has extremely interesting steep hillside, and it's all terraced and vegetable gardened, and he also has bees and chickens, which is quite popular these days.
Yes.
So that's kind of different. And then the one in Stretch Island used to be a vineyard, and there's the old building where they did the grape pressing and whatever. No, I think maybe they made juice. I think it was juice. But they have a very nice, interesting vegetable garden and some nice perennials, and it's just kind of fun to go across the little bridge to the island and find your way to their house. It's quite tricky.
Yeah, but it's a small island, so you can't get too lost.
Well, yeah, they're big sites.
Yeah, very good. Well, a lot of fun this coming Saturday from 10 to 4. Tickets available again at Tozier's,
Lynch
Creek,
Hunter Farms,
Lori's, and Hunter Farms,
and Fresh Start Deli.
And
they're also available at the gardens, like I said, if you bring your aunt or your cousin or your next door neighbor.
You can get tickets there at the entryway, and there's the Master Gardeners there to help out and to guide you through the gardens and tell you what you're looking at and all that sort of jazz.
Yeah.
Sounds like a wonderful way to spend an hour or two on a Saturday, and it should be a lot of fun.
Thank you.
All right, and we will, I'm sure, be talking to you soon down the road about something.
Always got something up our sleeve.
You Master Gardeners are always up to something, that's for sure. Lou Schmidt, thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
8:48. We'll take a quick break, and then Jeff and I will do our best to put the wraps on this day. Did we do trivia yet?
No, we'll do that next.
Okay, we'll do that next then. Mariner Trivia is on the way on Daybreak.
You're listening to Daybreak with Jeff and Dale on KMAS News Radio.
Taylor Shellfish is a proud sponsor of the Environmentally Sound program. For 5 generations, the Taylor family's been stewards of a healthy and prosperous Puget Sound. In partnership with nature, Taylor Shellfish brings you the freshest, most sustainable shellfish you'll ever eat. Visit their store at 136 Southeast Lynch Road. Open daily from 10 to 6, and they're online at TaylorShellfishFarms.com.
Mason County Garbage and Recycling on Johns Prairie here in Shelton is pleased to offer safe and efficient removal services. Mason County Garbage and Recycling is always mindful of environmental standards and is continuously striving for the highest excellence. Mason County Garbage and Recycling, upholding your trust within the community. Questions? Call 426-8729. In Belfair, 275-4590.
iFiber Communications, the fastest internet provider in Washington State, has just opened their doors here in Mason County and got their first local customers signed up. James, tell me about your experience.
From the first time I learned of iFiber to the day I got hooked up, even now, I felt that my fiber connection and the service given to me have been the number one most important job to every member of the iFiber team. And not just because I was first in line with my nose pressed up to the glass waiting for a company to take my money.
What differences have you noticed?
I get what I pay for. With non-fiber solutions, you're paying up to the top and never get a constant number anywhere near that top. With fiber, you certainly do. With iFiber, you get it at a competitive and affordable price.
Why should others sign up for iFiber Internet?
Well, iFiber has made a commitment to Mason County. They're working hard to bring fast speeds to everyone at an affordable price. And now with phones and television, your bill will be all in one place with no hidden fees or sudden price changes to surprise you month to month like other all-in-one service providers.
Get signed up for iFiber Communications today by calling 360-427-4000 or visit iFiber.tv for more information. Alderbrook Properties present Golf Balls from Heaven. It's all part of the 5th annual Love Inc. Golf Tournament Ball Drop and Auction, Monday, July 20th at Alderbrook Golf Course. For a $10 donation, you'll have a golf ball dropped on the 18th hole from a helicopter donated by Olympic Air. 10 cash prizes will be awarded for the balls closest to the pin. A hole-in-one will pay out $2,000. Proceeds go to Benefit Love Inc., mobilizing local churches to assist people in need. Last year, over 20 area churches helped out over 2,000 people. Call Love Inc. today. They'll arrange to pick up your donation. 360-462-LOVE. 462-5683. Donations are tax deductible. Call for a ball today. 462-LOVE. And come on out for the big drop on Monday, July 20th. Golf balls from heaven.
Hi, I'm Toby Kevin with Community Lifeline, and you're listening to Daybreak with Jeff and Dale on KMAS News Radio.
8:52. We're getting hustled out the door here in a few minutes, but before we go, we'd like to invite you to give us a call at 360-462-1041. 462-1041. Tell me the name of the Mariner who hit the blast, the 3-run home run in the bottom of the 5th to give the Mariners the brief 5-3 lead in a 12-5 loss to the Detroit Tigers last night. Give us a call at 462-1041 and qualify for this Friday's drawing for Mariner tickets. And take us to the Jamie Moyer bobblehead night on August
for sure.
the 8th. So we'll give you a couple of weeks to plan that out. And we do remind you that our next drawing will be this Friday. So for those of you who are already qualified and in the cycle.
8:53 here at KMAS. Tom Hartman coming up at 9, Dave Ramsey, and then Chad Benson until we get, well, he'll have the full show. And at 6 tonight, we start our pregame coverage of Mariner baseball. Tomorrow on Daybreak with Jeff and Dale, we continue our candidate interviews, and we are still working with the City of Shelton Commissioner of Finance position. Tomorrow, Kathleen McDowell will be on the air. We'll get a chance to meet her and talk with her. You can see the video submissions by the candidates who took us up on our offer at KMAS.com. And also tomorrow being a Wednesday, we'll talk with Representative Dan Griffey, also Darren Berry, who is the new proprietor of the Robin Hood Pub and Restaurant. That's going on in Port of Call as well, because it's a Wednesday, and that's what we do on Wednesdays.
That is what we do on Wednesdays. And so we'll be looking forward to our guests and our interviews for tomorrow hump day. Boy, that Camel guy kind of lost his way. They don't do that much anymore.
No, it was a flash in the pan.
It was.
Geico.
It was a 15 minutes of fame kind of a deal.
I was reading that interesting thing on Reddit yesterday about, first off, Reddit, that whole network, that internet site is cannibalizing itself.
Is it?
They are so mad at the so basically what happens is they're the big guys who created it.
Yeah.
And then there are moderators
subreddits
of all the subreddits. And so like Shelton has a subreddit, and there's a person that is the moderator of it, the one that kind of makes sure that everything's okay and the people's posts are getting up there. Well, the moderators and like the developers are at war with each other, and then they were going to try to limit some free. They have these some of the subreddits are very awful and like deep, gross parts of the internet, but they have it open for people because they say we're not stifling ideas. So anyways, there's a big, anyways, they were talking about who blew their 15 minutes of fame the worst.
Yeah. That's a good topic, actually.
It was. And so one of them was like the first guy to float over L.A. with helium balloons back in the 80s. Somebody did that. Or Richard Hatch, the first Survivor winner. The
naked
guy blew his 15 minutes of fame when he wouldn't pay his taxes.
Income taxes, I
heard a rumor that he came across some improprieties in the filming of Survivor. And to keep him quiet, CBS said that they would pay the taxes on his winnings.
Oh, and then
they never did. And they said that the second place person was offering, this is all rumor, hearsay, but offering favors for food with the production crew who, because they get real food.
Yeah.
But it's pretty interesting, actually. There's some fun stuff on the Reddit. You definitely got to take it with a grain of salt because people just post, and it's all anonymous. So, people just post stuff.
Lots of time go by reading all that stuff, huh?
You really can. You can learn about anything you'd ever want to learn about, but at the same time, it's you definitely have to be cautious about what you believe.
Yeah, everything is just like going to YouTube. You can go through a tangled web of topics.
Oh, yeah. The next thing you know,
it's like an hour and a half later, and you're going, I gotta go do something else. Peel myself away from this. Absolutely. Okay, so last call for Mariner trivia participants.
Okay.
462-1041. The Mariner that hit the home run in the bottom of the fifth. If you can tell me that this morning, we'll give you a pair of tickets to the theater and also qualify you for the Friday drawing for tickets to the August 8th game. We have some busy action going on the telephone right now. Not necessarily.
I don't think this is real.
Contests.
The caller ID on this says Applause app. I'm not even.
I don't think. They should do their sales pitch on the radio.
That's okay.
That would have been fun. Good way to finish things.
57. If you were a real person just then, you can call back. But otherwise, that was not a real phone.
All right. We'll look forward to tomorrow, Daybreak with Jeff and Dale. All-star list of guests coming in. And you have a great day today. We'll see you tomorrow.
You're listening to Daybreak with Jeff and Dale on KMAS News Radio.
The weeds in your